I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa.
I started riding the buses in 1955 in Torrance. So, and I've been on quite a number of incarnations of the bus. You can jump on the bus in Torrance and go to Los Angeles for very little money. You can catch the bus any number of places.
Lift requested.
I've used public transportation throughout the state of California and in other states. Public transportation has gotten me out to the beach, out to theater. I've gotten to fairs, to the county fairs.
I've gone as far as San Bernardino to Venice, or even if I'm in a foreign city, I like to use public transport.
These are the faces of Torrance Transit, a municipally operated bus service that carries more than 4.7 million riders per year at just under 22 million passenger miles. For 20 hours a day, you can ride the bright red and white to destinations on its 8 fixed routes throughout Torrance and its neighboring cities, including Carson, Gardena, Redondo Beach, and Hawthorne. You can also catch regional connections to Long Beach, Los Angeles, the Metro Blue Line Artesia Station, and LAX.
It can actually do a lot for you, but you have to make sure to plot your route in advance.
City Council member Cliff Newmark is chair of the city's Transportation Committee. His mission, to see that public transportation in Torrance keeps up with the times, yet stays accessible to all.
Our transit fleet has evolved, and we have continued to provide service over the years and have grown. The interesting thing is our fares actually haven't really changed all that much, believe it or not. I think probably about 30, 40 years ago, our fares were 25 cents. Now they're $1. As a matter of fact, it still is 25 cents if you're a senior or if you're disabled.
In spite of its efficient present, the Torrance Transit of the past wasn't always such a well-oiled machine.
Our transit system really started years ago, 70 years ago. It was a ragtag operation. It was very small and didn't really have a home in the city.
Torrance Transit's official birth date is January 25, 1940. Back then, the Pacific Electric Railway, known as the Red Car, was one of the primary means of transportation for city residents. It carried workers employed by the city's thriving oil industry in and out of town. In 1938, the PE Railway filed an application with the California Railway Commission to abandon its Torrance to San Pedro line. Despite the city's protests, the application was granted, allowing PE Railway to abandon service within 1 year. Asbury Rapid Transit System, known as ARTS, stepped in to fill the service breach. In January of 1940, it temporarily began running a free service from downtown to San Pedro and downtown LA in anticipation of a quick approval to officially begin service from Torrance. That approval never came, so ARTS agreed to lease the 3 BC Mac buses it had been using for Torrance service to the city. The city's application to operate its own municipal bus line was finally approved on August 5, 1941.
The fleet has changed both in terms of its routes, its destinations. Certainly the buses themselves have changed over the years.
No one knows this better than Torrance Transit Supervisor Melanie Hearns, who started as a bus operator in 1982, driving a heavy diesel bus like this one.
When I got ready to make a turn into Fashion Square or anywhere was a tight turn, you would actually have to stand up and pull the wheel real hard and put a lot of muscle into it because there was no power steering. And on a hot day in the summertime, it's about 80 or 90, sweat would be rolling down your face because we didn't have any AC at all.
And as retired bus operator Bob Madrigal affirms, public transit was a bit more challenging for riders as well.
The old buses were a little bit more difficult due to the fact that they all have steps on the side of the bus, and it's a lot more difficult especially for the older people to get on.
In the early 1990s, passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, mandated that all diesel buses provide wheelchair access. This brought a more modernized fleet of red and white diesel buses. Accessibility advocate Ben Rockwell has ridden Torrance Transit for the past 30 years. He now relies on public transportation as his sole means of getting around. The red and whites have gotten Rockwell where he needs to go, but not without some challenges.
I have gotten on them, had them stop halfway up. I've had them not deploy at all once I was on the bus, and they've had to call out maintenance, taking as much as an hour to get the things fixed.
Antiquated, loud, and nitrogen dioxide emitting. The consensus among city leaders in Torrance Transit, it's time to bring the bus service into the 21st century. Say hello to the new look of Torrance Transit.
Torrance Transit is going green. We recently purchased 10 New Flyer hybrid electric gasoline vehicles to help replace our all-diesel fleet, which we expect to complete the entire fleet by 2015. We're anticipating an annual savings of at least $40,000 a year in fuel costs.
The first phase of replacing the 53 bus fleet is partially funded by the economic stimulus package.
The Americans Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. We received $4.5 million for that, and that paid for the substantial amount of the 10 buses.
Features of the new hybrid model included zero NOx emitting engine, rear touch doors for easy exiting, and a sophisticated communications center.
Somewhat like an aircraft would have, you have the data logger, which is like a black box recording all the events that happen throughout the day. Down here we have the digital recorder, which is announcing every stop in our transit system.
Another highly anticipated change for Rockwell, the bus floor, which lowers to street level, and a hydraulic ramp that unfolds for easier access.
I am extremely excited about the new ramps because of the safety, the speed of being able to get on, the speed of the securement of the wheelchairs. Now things can be done in a manner so that it might only take as much as 1 to 2 minutes.
Other changes on the horizon, fully integrating Torrance Transit's new look.
You're going to see different types of bus benches and trash receptacles, and you're also going to begin to see us transitioning as a part of the green program into some solar use.
Riders can also look forward to a new Torrance Transit Center, proposed for this vacant lot on the corner of Crenshaw and Maricopa. It may one day serve as a stop for the Metro Green Line.
The benefits of having a regional transit center is to help mitigate traffic congestion, reduce air pollution, to provide greater job access throughout the South Bay area, to afford our motorists a place where they can meet to participate in carpools and van pools, and also to aid our businesses in helping them transport their employees to and from the South Bay area.
The overriding objective of Torrance Transit's big makeover is to attract new riders of all ages, specifically students like Bradley Tollison, who commute to and from school.
I don't want to be sitting in traffic. I'd rather be doing my homework or just listening to music, relaxing on a bus.
Tollison's passion for using public transportation led him to seek an internship at Torrance Transit. His pet project is putting Torrance Transit on the Google Transit map.
The advantage is basically if you have an iPhone or a Palm Pre or an Android device, or even just if you're at home on your desktop or laptop, if you go to Google Maps, you can plan your trip.
Good afternoon, Torrance Transit. Charlene, may I help you?
From its original headquarters to its modern-day home, the City Yard, the evolution of Torrance Transit has been one of steady progress. Progress that continues thanks to a dedicated team.
For the past 70 years, Torrance Transit has provided quality service to the community of Torrance. We're Team Torrance, and each and every employee plays a vital role in making it happen. That's from the supervisors to the dispatchers, the bus operators, the office staff members, the mechanics, equipment attendant, and the managers. So again, I have to thank them all because no one person can keep the buses on the street by themselves. We all work together.
Colleen Farrell with the Centennial Oral History.